impossible to turn up in this kind of situation, so he did go for roaches, and maybe that's what killed him.
Yeah,
a
it
little
was
bit
a
early.
strange build. It didn't really make any sense to me. I felt like he was
You
trying to
can
do
certainly
too
go
much.
roaches or banelings there. It's kind of depending on if you do want to get roaches, though, you kind of want to trade your speedlings with their speedlings before your roaches come out, because you know, if you both have like 50 zerglings and then they add in like 3 banelings and you add in like 3 roaches, they're going to dominate you in the next battle. So speeding into roach is playable, but you kind of just want to trade as close to their base as possible, kind of before roaches come.
Yeah.
If you trade too close to your base and they just kill your army like that, they'll just end up killing your whole base. So it's kind of weird. Those kind of games do lead up to like just like hyper aggression, but besides like forever, can't really get a real economic advantage, at least until the game settles down into more of a roach play, because roaches are a lot harder to attack with, you know, and a lot better defensively. So.
Cool. I have just a brief question for you, just kind of about something that I call natural progression. I feel like ZvZ has a sort of a natural progression where it starts with speedlings, and then you have this time where banelings are effective, but then it becomes roach. And
Yeah.
I feel like he kind of, in that last game, the guy you were playing against, I feel like he kind of skipped a step, and that might be maybe why he lost. Do you think there's any validity to that statement?
He did skip a step, but the thing is, you know, it's a step that you can skip in a lot of your games. If you're adjusting your play based, you know, if you're trying to make it so that you can skip that step, and you have to do things that will allow you to skip that step, you know. Because in very large speeding battles, you know, banelings are better support, so you have to avoid that somehow, you know. You can, you know, one of the things people can do to avoid that step is that instead of going mass speedlings into roaches in that kind of game, they can go speedling spinecrawler into roach and play defensive. And if they go speedling spinecrawler, they have a lot less speedlings, so that the banelings are not as effective, and they can kind of just get roaches out. Another thing they can do is if they can fight a lot of speedling battles before the other guy's banelings come up. And if they can fight a lot of battles, you know, just base race, put on pressure, you know, like backstab, like the game of Lost Temple, things like that. It is possible if you can just, you know, if you can skip, like, hold out the battle for like maybe 30 seconds, and just use your zerglings for like a threat, like base race, or you know, just fight small squads of their army, and you can kind of even lose them as long as you're trading okay. You can kind of skip that and go straight into roaches, but. It's pretty hard to skip speedlings. It's pretty hard to go straight into roaches, though.
Yeah.
Like,
now I have a question here. Somebody in chat has just said something that I take that I would probably disagree with. He's saying you can go hatch first on Zelnaga Caverns and then immediately push with slow roaches. That to me that just sounds retarded.
what do you mean? Like they go roaches?
Yeah, the guy that goes hatch first. Go hatch first, then go straight to
pushing
roaches.
what? They're pushing you if you're going a one-base build? That doesn't even make sense.
That's kind of how I feel.
Well, I mean, they can't go.
Okay.
You can go hatch first into like a defensive roach play, certainly.
Okay.
I mean, you're not going to try to kill them.
I'm sorry.
But
let me get a little more specific. He's talking a little bit about the Nest T style, the 2-base, like 8 roach speedling, kind of all in.
One of the things is basically that starts out as a hatch first, and you kind of scout whether they expo as well. And if they're doing, you know, some kind of speeding expo or things like that, the moment that they expo, you do want to be putting on aggression yourself, because you know you're not the build like that build, you're not getting an economic advantage. You know, you're just basically you're just going hatch first and making a lot of units, and when they're expoing, you can try to kill them as well. And if they're not expoing, you're just trying to defend with a lot of units. You know, the maps like that are not conducive to like Spinecrawler Queens. That's a build that I always do that build in Scrap Station, just because the map is big enough that the early aggression is not too strong. But I feel like on Zelnaga, if you're going hatch first into roach, you know, roach defense or roach offense, if they do a speeding expo, I feel like they'll kill you anyways, kind of, if they just go a speeding expo and keep making speedlings.
Well, maybe after this game we can play one on Scrap and we can let you show us. And I think after that I'll jump up and play one or two and let you yell at me for a little while, and then that'll probably be coming up near the end of our
Sure.
time. But first we get the rematch. You get to avenge your loss. Better bring your A game, because Aquanda said he's going to eat your children.
All right.
You don't like joking with me, do you, StrifeCro?
Not really. I'm a mean person. Just really mean.
Fair enough. So this is Shakuris. We've said time and again how good Hatchery First is here. It's certainly what I'm expecting to see out of you.
And Shakuris is actually, the map is so good for Hatch First that you can actually just crush 6-pull with Hatch First.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've had people like try to 6-pull me on Shakuris when I go Hatch First, and I can just completely dominate them going Hatch First. Just because the map walking distance is long enough and the drones are strong enough at fighting that you can easily beat a 6-pull with Hatch First.
So does that mean you're going to be getting like a 15 pull behind your hatch? Just to be safe, because you're probably not going to scout him for a while.
If I don't scout him, I'll probably be getting a 15 pull behind my gas. Behind my hatch regardless.
Okay. Cool.
I'm only going to be really getting a gas before my pool if I scout another hatch first.
Gotcha. That's funny, because I was just thinking to myself, wouldn't it be hilarious if Aquanda went like 7 pull, but you're apparently not worried about it.
And I mean, I am going to be scouting though. It's not necessarily for 6-pull. It's a lot of it. I mean, I'm not gonna scout at a time where I can adjust my build versus 6-pull anyways, you know. But I do want to see whether he's going hatch first build or a one base build.
And this is just so you can decide whether or not you want to go gas first.
Yeah, and how much I can drone up and things like that.
Awesome.
Actually, my Overlord did get there in time to see. Somehow, I don't think I saw his Overlord running to me.
I don't know where he sent that first Overlord. I'm going to cheat and check now. And I think what he did was send it across the middle to see if he could catch your drone and figure out where you are that way. Jadong style. So, looks like we've seen
He did get a gas first.
Yep.
His gas is a little bit faster than mine here. I might opt to do something a little bit different here, a little bit defensive, risk this.
It sounds like you've played through this scenario about 100 million times and that you've got answers to every possibility.
Yeah, he can go like a one. If he goes like a 1 queen speeding baneling, it's a really optimized build where you're cutting off the 2nd queen so you can get more units for speeding baneling. But I can get a I can just kind of spine crawler up and go speeding roach, and make it so that the early game is not so affected by Zerglings, because I'm making so many some spine crawlers. I can cut out the Zerglings a little bit.
Interesting. So in essence, you're considering skipping that baneling step that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad because I love baneling play. It's my favorite. Oh, production tab. I always forget. And then I get messages from angry people saying, pull up the production tab. Double spine.
I kind of forgot to make any Zerglings this game a little bit earlier. I did want to just get some out for some scouting info, but my scouting info is pretty late this game. That it's gonna be hard for me to spend my next larva. He does have Zergling speed.
So you're saying that you you base your injection cycle, like what you build, off of what you scout?
No, no, no. I mean, you can just inject as fast as you can, you know.
Yeah, but I mean the stuff that you make out of that larva. I mean, I guess it makes sense.
No, it's just like, larva just spawns constantly, you know. I was just saying, like, the larva in general. I want to see what's going on. I think there's a lot of zerglings somewhere in the middle of the map. Yeah. I didn't see it, but, I mean...
Gamer sense, man.
I'm going to block off my ramp with 2 queens. Hope I can get this one back in time. And I'm going to spread out a little bit here. I should be okay here. I can
one
transfuse that. Yeah. No matter what, though, I'm not going to move my queens. Even if he kills one with 2 spine crawlers, I'm not going to move them.
You'd rather lose drones than lose
I'd rather lose, like, the... Yeah. I can't let him get to my main.
So this is how we get to Roach.
Yeah.
Very carefully.
Very carefully. You can kind of skip a step if you play careful enough. And I think this is pretty much over.
And yeah, you've added a lot of drones in the meantime, and
yeah.
now he's kind of in this precarious situation where he's lost a lot of zerglings, and he's behind in drones, and he's like, what does he do? What is his logical next step?
I can just kind of build up a big roach army now with the economic advantage and just bust them or something.
Are you done droning?
I mean, I could be done droning. I mean, you could just play a really safe macro game from here. Just something like you know, just tech tier 2 and get more drones. But there's backdoors here. I think it's fairly easy to bust them through the back door.
And are you not going to go up to lair at all? You're kind of just going to do like a roach all in?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to go for a lair. I don't feel like he can defend this cost effective enough that I'd go all in regardless of what he does.
Okay, I see. That's funny. Every time I ask a pro, are you going all in? They say, well, no, technically, no matter what, I have a next step.
I mean, there's nothing that layer that's that important. A lot of layer is just for like a rooster and some scouting info, but you can get scouting info by attacking them anyways. You know, roach speed is not that important.
Now, one detail that we didn't mention is that you added a 3rd queen.
I just added it just because I thought one of my queens might die, and I wanted to have 2 queens. When he was still busting me, I wanted to have 2 queens to block off my ramp in case the 3rd one died.
Counter. GG, says Aquanda. Very well played, sir. That was interesting. And what I'm taking away from this as kind of a student here is there are no absolutes in ZvZ. Anything could happen, which is frustrating.
Yeah. The matchup is pretty dynamic. I think that like like some concepts in ZvZ are just like having really good scouting info. You know, and a lot of ZZ you can like even sacrifice a little bit of things for map control and scouting info, but you don't want to like sacrifice too much. You know, like having a little bit more speeding and presence early is really big, just because you can kind of hang out in front of their base and see how many spine crawlers they're making, or see, you know, if they're getting roaches, things like that. And all that info is really big.
Okay. So if I were to ask you, what are some absolutes? What are some rules that I can live by when it comes to ZvZ? Would you have an answer for me?
I guess not really. I mean, some things are just like openings are extremely strong on some maps. I feel like Hatch First is like really strong scrap station as well.
Okay.
But
Go ahead.
Like the difference is on this